Hey guys, we've got Ray Ross's truck here, Maxwell. Got a little more progress on it. We've got the intercooler mounted up, all the brackets easily removable. Just take a couple bolts out and it slides right out, or you can just take it off piece by piece, removing a couple bolts, remove the intercooler. Got all the intercooler pipes done, 4-inch stainless with vibrant HD clamps. We had to notch the firewall back here to fit a 5-inch hood stack. That took a little time to get done, but came out pretty nice. He ordered some 400% S&S LBZ injectors to run with this Motec. Inside the cab we have his Tim McAmis 10-pound bottle rack, lightweight, pretty easy to remove. Same thing like the radiator intercooler, pull the pins and it'll slide right out and you can remove the whole bracket and bottles together. We've also got in here, we've mounted the Motec screen. We've got the ECU master PMU mounted up. It's getting closer to start putting bulkheads in it and start wiring it up. We've got a few more things to mount up. We've got nitrous solenoids, plumbing, a little bit of plumbing just to make sure we're not going to run into any wires into the plumbing or lines or anything like that. We've got fire suppression to install and plumb. Back here in the back of the truck, it's not going to change a whole lot back here. We're just going to kind of leave it alone for now and just see how he does with it. Keep it leaf sprung. We might remove another leaf and just add a coil spring to this coilover, a lightweight one, just to kind of keep it a little bit of ride height where we want it, so it's not dragging its behind back there. But I mean, the fuel cells are going to stay the same. We need to remount the battery. Fast will stay in the same position. Maybe put a few more drive shaft hoops, some more bracing in here. Probably mount the fire suppression bottles back here just to keep a little weight on the back. Really, that's about all we're going to do back here for now, and just keep it the same.
Hey guys, Chris, Truck Source. Got a little update on our Mick project. I'm not sure if any of y'all saw, but we posted a few pictures. We kind of changed our path here in the front. We're going to try something a little bit different, and I don't know if it's going to work or if it's going to bite us in the butt, but we're going to do independent front suspension on it. It seems like most of the, all of the GM Duramax trucks, they're IFS, and all those guys stay with IFS, and all the Dodge and Fords are straight axle and they stay with it. We're gonna try the IFS. We like the idea of just having one 4-link on the truck in the rear. Our theory is that by not having a 4-link on the front, perhaps the tunability of the rear will be more consistent, more predictable. So weight-wise, we're not sure if there's a huge advantage with the IFS. I think a built 9-inch versus the IFS like this is probably going to be fairly close. This might end up being a little lighter, but I don't see either one being a huge difference weight-wise. So we kind of have the frame rails kind of where they're going to go, and right now we're playing with a combination of differential arms and what knuckles we're going to run. So I'll let Nate explain that and kind of what our options are and what we've tried and what we're thinking so far.
Okay guys, so over here we have the 3/4 ton knuckle with the factory upper arm. It's just a DJM lower arm, which is not what we're going to use. It's just what we mocked up. I made a jig that pretty much sat under here, and I made all these all the tubes and whatnot hit where I want them to hit, and then made the brackets so we can connect it. Now that we've got that all out of here, we're playing around with some of the knuckles, arms, and track width of the truck just to see where we are at. We've looked into having billet knuckles made, but that price is a little up there for what it is, I think, and I think we can spend money elsewhere and save some weight and make some other cool stuff with it. Like with the 3/4 ton knuckle and the 10 by 12 or 15 by 12 wheel, it pushes the tire out pretty far. It's probably outside of the hood. Once the hood's on there, you're seeing that much tire. I wanted it tucked in a little bit more, maybe somewhere in here. So if we go over here, we've got the 15 by 10 on there with the half-ton knuckle and half-ton hub. There's not a, right now there's no rotor hat in there, so it'll still sit out like 3/8 of an inch more. But as you can see here, if you kind of line up with the body, it's tucked in a lot more, and the tire, once the hood's on it, is probably about sticking out right about there. So we're questioning some of the geometry. This is online in parallel with this arm versus the 3/4 ton, which we might need to ask some more questions. We're not total experts on the geometry of IFS, but we're learning a lot as we go. So you can kind of see the difference with the half-ton and the 3/4 ton.
So here's a little bit of our what we've been going back and forth on with the knuckles. I'll let Nate explain it in a little bit more detail, but a lot of the stuff can get mix and matched with the arms. We want to try to run the half-ton, and this is a 3/4 ton hub, but we want to try to run a half-ton because to drill out for the bolt pattern, it's a little bit narrower. It gives us a little bit more meat where we're going to put the bolt pattern. So keeping that in mind, we're playing with a selection of the different knuckles, and I'll let Nate explain a little bit the differences in them.
Yeah, so we've got this is a JK knuckle, which we've built a 9-inch with JK outers on it and inner knuckles. But and then we've got a Chevy aluminum knuckle, which came, I believe, in like 13 and up trucks, somewhere in there. I'd have to look back on that. This is like a 99 to probably a 12 truck. It's a steel half-ton knuckle. Both of these are half-tons. Then you've got the factory 3/4 ton Duramax knuckle, which you can see it's a little taller for the arm mounting versus these, just by probably about an inch and a half or so. Steering probably is in about the same place. It's just a different location. It just shows where the ball joint goes in on top on this one, comes in on the bottom on that one. So I believe, I don't remember. Yeah.
A lot of that could just be compensated for the ride height because the hub location in relation to the ball joints is lower, I guess you would say, on the half-ton knuckles, since the hub is up closer to the upper arm.
Yeah. And then if y'all are curious about weights on this, JK knuckle is 13 pounds. The aluminum ones are 8.5. The steel ones are 17.5, and I believe these were 17.5, 18.
I think so, yep.
So not much difference in between 3/4 ton and half-ton steels, but pretty big difference on the aluminum, obviously.
We would love to run this style knuckle, the aluminum half-ton knuckle, because it has the bolt pattern to go to the half-ton hub, which we want to run, but where the steering goes in is in a different location, and it's bigger because it's aluminum and it won't fit inside the wheel, at least with the width and the back spacing that we want to run. So Nate's testing out some new technology with the rear forelink. We're going to try the Bluetooth model. Maybe that 16 gauge axle tube.
the exhaust tubing. Trying to save some weight here. Yeah, we've pretty much got this set in place about where it will be. I mean, this is pretty close. It's probably a little lower. This will be a little lower on the height wise. Just all the Jenga blocks I had for right now. But the front's actually pretty close to where it'll sit at ride height. And now we're just gonna start connecting the dots from here to the frame. But first we gotta finish the front and get that right where we want it, and then we'll go from there on that. But yeah, starting to come and get together. We're just trying to get a plan, idea of where the bars are gonna go. Maybe put it in Bentec, show Chris, see if he's happy with it, and then we'll have a plan to move forward once we get the front finalized, and we're good to go after that.